gentlemen, this is Sherman D. Manning coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. I wish I was at home in Atlanta, Georgia, but I thank God that I am alive and in the land of the living just one more time. I promised my people that I would do the podcast every day, no matter what time I had to do it, regardless of how short sometimes and concise the show had to be. I would make the time to get it done. Um, it's turned out to be a lot more popular of a podcast than I thought it would be. And a lot of people contact me via email when they don't hear it and tell me that they're looking for it. So it is 3 o'clock in the morning in Los Angeles, 6 o'clock in the morning in my hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, and noon in Switzerland. Foremost and first, if you are interested in getting me to your university as a speaker on public policy, on the criminal justice system, on politics, or on wrongful convictions, you may send me an email. It's very easy to remember at shermandmanning@gmail.com. That is SHERMANDMANNING at gmail.com. And I'll be glad to come to your organization, church function, or whatever. I'm an expostulator of the gospel. I preach the gospel. I am an orator. I speak at public events. It is what I live for. Public speaking and preaching are my first love, to be quite frank with you. So again, you can email me at shermandmanning@gmail.com. That is SHERMANDMANNING at gmail.com. ShermanDManning@gmail.com. Let me encourage you to get a copy of my new book, The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice. It is not just about OJ, but it's also about the no J's. It is a book that every college student studying criminal justice or even politics or any government related subject should read. It is a book that every law student should read. It is a book that teachers and mentors and coaches should read. It is a book that young people ought to read. It is called The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice by me, Sherman D. Manning. It is available at local bookstores as well as on Amazon.com. Get that book. Also, get my book, Creating Monsters. Get American Dream, A Search for Justice. Get my book, Blue Eyed Blonde, which is the only fiction that I've ever published. Get my book, From the Palace to the Prison. Get my book, Kids Killing Kids, if you know anyone in gangs, etc. It is the largest book I've ever written. Kids Killing Kids is a humongous, gigantic book. It's 600 plus pages packed with information, and you ought to get that book. Kids Killing Kids, Creating Monsters, American Dream, A Search for Justice. Get my book, Don't Mess with Texas. It's about Texas politicians. Don't Mess with Texas. Get that book. It deals with a lot of other things. And to be quite frank with you, if you get Don't Mess with Texas, you get a bonus book inside that book. Go to Amazon.com, Google Sherman D. Manning, and sometimes, unfortunately, for some reason, all of my books don't come up together. I've written 22 books, but just punch in The Truth About O.J. Simpson by Sherman D. Manning. It'll come up. You should get those books. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a moment or two about Donald. I won't dignify him by calling his last name. He is a buffoon. He is a fascist. He is a racist. He is a pedophile. And I did call him that. I wrote another book. It's called America's Richest Pedophiles. It is a real book. Look at me on some of these social websites and you will see the book itself, America's Richest Pedophiles. And it is about Donald, who is a pedophile. And the last thing we want in the White House is a man who's that sick with that kind of mentality. I just want to know, how do we go from a man who owns a beauty pageant to handing him the codes to the nuclear arsenal? A man who can't control his temper, a man who can't control his tongue, but we want him to go and negotiate peace treaties. We want him dealing with Russia. We want him dealing with Kim Jong Un in North Korea. I think not. Even if you are a Republican, you should take a step back and look at this man analytically with a clinical detachment and ask yourself if you really want to give your vote to a racist, give your vote to a buffoon, to a man who cannot control himself. If you are willing to look yourself in the mirror and say that Donald is who you want to be president, then I can only tell you that you have a problem. It's just that cut and dried, it's black and white. I have a lot of Republican friends who voted for John McCain over President Barack Obama. There was nothing wrong with them. They just saw politics differently than I did. I have a lot of friends who voted for George Bush over John Kerry. I'm sorry, over Al Gore. And there's nothing wrong with my friends who voted for George Bush. They just had a different political perspective than I did. We disagreed on politics, but this is different. If you vote for Donald Trump, you either have not studied him or there's something wrong with you. It's just that simple. Vote as you please, but please vote. If you don't vote, you don't count. I encourage you to get out and vote. And unfortunately, this time you have to vote for Hillary Clinton. A vote for Donald is a vote for fascism. Just that simple. We don't have much tonight. It is very, very late. I've been running since 6 o'clock yesterday morning with no sleep. I'm running on oxygen. I just wanted to make sure I got a couple of words in about this political season. And we will be coming forth soon with other podcasts on other subjects, especially criminal justice, especially the books that God has blessed and enabled me to write, and some other things. We will be talking back with you very, very soon. Tell your friends to listen to this podcast. Tell everybody you know. We want people to know. I am Sherman D. Manning, author, speaker, leader, whatever you want to call me. And I'm glad to be here. God bless you. I send you great thoughts. I send you, for those of you who are of the Christian faith, as am I, God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. And I pray for you. You pray for me. Because wherever two or three are gathered together in his name, he's in the midst of us. Even if we're not physically in the same location. Would you pray that God would order my steps and that he would use me in a mighty way and let my pain be transformed into power and let me fight like that because I was hurt like that. And let me speak into other young men's lives who have gone through what I went through or who are going through it or getting ready to go through it, and help some of them not to even go through it. Pray that these preachers across the city will invite me in and allow me to share with them what God has given to me. And pray that justice will prevail and that some of these guys who are wrongly convicted will get out. Some of these guys who are drug addicted will get help, and that this revolving door and this recidivism will stop. I want to thank my friend Adam, Mike, and Maddie at the Stringberg Laboratories for inviting me over last night with their people. They have a production company. They do plays and theater and things of that nature. And they had me over with them over at the Vortex last night. I was glad to be there. I thank them. I thank my dear friend Pastor Terry Wilson over at Good News Baptist Church in Los Angeles, and my dear friend Pastor Kenneth Pitchford over at Greater Hopewell Baptist Church likewise. Get the book, The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice. And I shall talk with you very, very soon. Remember, if you'd like for me to speak at your organization or your function, email me at shermandmanning@gmail.com. Tell everybody you know. We want people to know. Sherman D. Manning. Vote as you please, but please vote. If you don't vote, you don't count. Vote Hillary. I don't love her. I like her, but I certainly don't like Donald. He's bad for the country. Donald would be a threat to the national security interests of this company. Sherman D. Manning. If you see Donald, just tell him we said hello. If you see Donald, tell him that You understand. God bless you. Peace out, y'all.